Okay, so if I'm approximating square roots, well, let's look at one where we have an exact answer, and that'll give us a head start to approximating. I always have to consider my perfect squares. Perfect squares are the numbers that multiplied by itself give us an answer. So square root of 9 is going to be 3. Square root of 16 is going to be 4, because 4 times 4 is 16. So if we're trying to approximate square root of 10, I need to think of what's perfect squares is 10 in between. Well, it's in between 3 and 4, because 10 is in between the perfect squares of 9 and 16. So that means my answer is going to be approximately 3 point something. If I'm approximating to the nearest tenth, I want to use kind of my critical thinking to figure out what to round to. If I round it to 3.9, I'm saying 10 is really close to 16. That's not the case. If I say 3.5, I'm saying 10 is right in between 9 and 16. Also not the case. 10 is pretty close to 9. So if I round to 3.1 or even 3.2, I'm saying 10 is closer to 9 than it is to 16. So these would be reasonable answers or reasonable approximations of the square root of 10. Another way to come up with the decimal is to figure out how many numbers are in between the two perfect squares, so 7, and then how many numbers is it from the first one, 1. So 1/7 is what I'm looking at. 1 divided by 7. Well, that's about 0.1 or 0.14. So 3.1 is a reasonable approximation.